Draft version of Monday Night Call with Yoni and Paul. We will be your hosts tonight. We are so excited to get into the nitty gritty. This is the best time of year as a Jets fan. We are 0-0, which is the best record we've had in 5 years. We are so excited to get started. Yoni is still in Lafayette. Unfortunately, we cannot be together tonight. So, Yoni, how is it? How's the bed and breakfast treating you? How's everything going?
It's weather's a little bit nicer here, I'm sure, than in New York. I obviously wouldn't miss the draft live anything. Sad to be here in Lafayette. But, to be honest, I ate dinner. I kind of, I've been starting to pack. I think I can Syracuse for the end of this live stream. You think?
Yoni, that's like literally 300 miles.
No. I'm like one of the fastest players on Doom. I take it. Watch. Just keep doing the show. I'll be there soon, I promise.
Okay, tonight I'm just going to be your host, I guess, with Monday Night Call with Paul. We're really excited to get you on the fan line. Why would he do this? I mean, it's 300 miles. Does he think he could just get here in less than 30 seconds?
Oh, my God. I was in Syracuse the whole time.
Crazy.
Oh, so good to see you in person. Good to be back. Monday Night Call with Yoni and Paul, fixing the graphic on cue. We got the best producer in the biz. The NFL draft is nigh. This Thursday, franchises and players' careers will change forever starting this Thursday night. And with Trevor Lawrence, the probable number 1 overall pick, that makes your New York Jets next on the clock. The people want to know, is it Justin Fields? Is it Zach Wilson? Is it Trill Williams, projected to go in the 5th round out of Syracuse, but maybe an early day 1 snag? What are the New York Jets going to do?
Yeah, I mean, if I have to be honest with you, what I want them to do and what I think they're going to do is the same thing. I think they're going to draft Zach Wilson. I think it's a good choice. I think he has the highest upside of anyone else not named Trevor Lawrence in the draft. I'm still very upset at that Rams game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget that. But yeah, I think Zach Wilson will be the pick, and I'm excited for it, honestly.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson, he has taken that spot number 2 in a lot of mock drafts a month ago, even 2 months ago. It was Justin Fields all the way across the board. Zach Wilson shows out at his pro day at the BYU Combine. He plays extremely well. He is the probable number 2 slot. I will say, just because there's a lot of talk of trade, of course, the 49ers traded up since our last live stream. Let's just say in a world where the New York Jets were to trade that pick, they'd have to get a quarterback out of it, whether it be Jimmy Garoppolo, they trade down for a guy like Mac Jones. What would you be comfortable giving up for that number 2 pick? How many years of first rounders? What quarterback would you want? What quarterback would you still feel comfortable with, if not Wilson or Fields? Just kind of playing the what if game, as we love to do here in Monday Night Call.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would look incredibly stupid after trading Sam Darnold to then try and trade back. However, I think if we were to, it could be maybe a deal with the Falcons, moving back 2 spots. You're still in a position to take a quarterback. Say you just like a few quarterbacks. Maybe Matt Ryan could be involved in a first. I mean, his contract looks pretty ugly coming up, so that it might be a better situation for them. Regardless, we're not going to do that. We're sticking with Zach Wilson, and I feel pretty confident saying that.
I think that's the right call. For the New England Patriots, I would love if Mac Jones fell to 15. And again, a couple weeks ago, a lot of mock drafts have him falling that far. Even the Patriots trading up just a few spots to take Trey Lance. If the Patriots don't trade into, say, the single-digit picks, it's going to be really tough for them to get Lance or Jones. With that being said, another name that's being tossed around is J.C. Horn, a lockdown cornerback at the University of South Carolina. J.C. Jackson signed just a 1-year tender, so he's only with the team for another year. Stephon Gilmore's future is a little murky. It's not exactly what the Patriots need right now, but coming into the 2022 draft, secondary could be an issue, especially with Devin McCourty retiring.
But to ask, so for the Jets at number 2, it's pretty much a lock of quarterback.
Right.
Do you feel that it's the same for the Patriots at 15 or trading up? Do you feel the Patriots are leaving with a new rookie quarterback?
I don't feel confident that they'll be able to do it at 15, and probably the least Belichickian thing on the planet is to trade up for a quarterback.
He's never had to before, though.
No.
So, saying that's not a Belichick thing.
Yeah,
Tom Brady was been
involved. It's a pretty cold take, but it's not a wrong take, and I'm going to stick by that analysis. So, yeah, I think could the Patriots trade up from 15 to 11, and will Mac Jones still be there? Yeah, maybe. Could the Patriots, are they, could they stay at 15 and expect to have their pick between Lance and Mac Jones? That's not going to happen.
Who is your favorite reasonable option at quarterback for the Patriots? Is it Trey Lance, Mac Jones? Justin Fields has been dropping in mock
Yeah,
drafts.
in terms of the draft, I always go back to lean on Mac Jones because he's an Alabama guy. He's a Saban guy. Saban's a Belichick guy. Trey Lance is also an interesting guy because he plays a similar game as Cam Newton. So the learning process and the mentoring will be very natural from a guy like Cam Newton to Trey Lance as opposed to a guy like Cam Newton to Mac Jones, which is why, I like Trey Lance, both great talents. Mac Jones has won some big games, but Trey Lance is a specimen. He can throw the ball, and he is one hell of an athlete.
In other news in the NFL, there's been 2 blockbuster trades happening within, I think, an hour of each other, or it was within one day. 49ers moving up from 12 to 3, trading with the Dolphins, and then the Dolphins trading with the Eagles, coming back down to 6. What does this mean for those 3 franchises? What do you think they're all looking at?
It's weird because the 49ers still haven't made clear of their intentions of Jimmy Garoppolo. And we're going to know when the commissioner reads that 3rd overall pick in the draft what the 49ers want to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's kind of the interesting part to me. I think most people would agree that the 49ers are trading up to take a quarterback, which, again, going back to the Patriots thing, if the 3rd pick in the draft is a quarterback, that does not bode well for the Patriots sitting at 15. The Eagles, it's interesting because, I guess Jalen Hurts is their guy. And I saw a lot of he's definitely a gamer, and he's definitely versatile. Is he ready to step up there and lead that team and win that division? I don't know. So it's an interesting move by the Eagles. And, I think everyone is sitting on the edge of their seats to see where Jimmy G is going to be employed a week from today.
Yeah. And then I guess the Dolphins are in prime position to take one of the best wide receivers or even Kyle Pitts maybe at 6.
In terms of draft capital over the next 2-3 years, there aren't a lot of teams in better shape than the Miami Dolphins. They were one of the teams to take advantage of the interesting maneuvers by the Houston Texans. So, they're in a good boat there. We've waited long enough. We've stalled long enough. We've got our opinions out. It's been a while. Matan has been patiently waiting on the fan line for a while. Our producer Camps is 4.3 on the fan line reaction. Reaction time. I think Matan was that fast is what I get. Or he's giving us a 4.3 out of 10 overall reaction, which would be kind of sad. Either way, repping Puma, it's Matan. How's it going?
I'm always Puma gang. Now, there is something I wanted to ask Yoni, because Paul, to be honest, I think it's abundantly clear you guys are taking Zach Wilson. It almost seems as much of a sure thing as Trevor Lawrence going number 1 is.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. No, I think it is at this point. It seems as though I don't even see a single mock draft pointing us in another direction.
Okay, so Yoni, my question for you is: the Patriots have spent an exorbitant amount of money this offseason. Yeah, that was an SAT word. And do you think that's going to affect how they draft if they chase a quarterback, anything like that? Because Cam Newton, I don't know that he's the guy. So in this offseason, do you think there's going to be anything happening there?
Yeah, I don't know if I exactly understand your question. It's tough because first-round quarterbacks are going to be expensive. They spent a lot of money, but they still have money to pick premier, positions in the top rounds of the draft and still be okay. I'm not worried about Cam Newton hitting all of his incentives and breaking the bank with the Patriots. I think they're going to do okay in that standpoint.
Well, my question is more does the signing of all these free agents kind of make them more desperate to get that quarterback that they want?
I think the desperation is the same as it was before, right? They filled some pieces on the D-line. Regardless of who the quarterback was, they needed help at receiver. With their tight ends lacking, Julian Edelman retiring, N'Keal Harry not really playing up to par, they needed help with receiver regardless of who the quarterback was. So, no, I don't really think it changes it going into draft night.
Okay. This was an interesting question that I had heard, and I want to kind of get your opinion. So the major quarterbacks are Lawrence, Wilson, Jones, Lance, and Fields. So in my opinion, I think there's one more major quarterback, and this is going to be a fun little first take, little Colin Cowherd type nugget. What if the other major quarterback that needs to be in that conversation, Love? I think he's going to be on the block. I think he's going to get moved.
The Patriots.
Oh.
You hit the trades of the Patriots is very interesting. Jordan Love is rumored because of a picture on someone's desk that he is traded to the Patriots. I don't know what you think of that. I think it would be probably a bad decision for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, the whole picture is suspect, capital S. We were thinking of another guy who Colin Coward's behind. I know you talked about a little bit as Kellen Mond.
Right. Well, Colin Coward and
Chris Sims.
Chris Sims is very high on Kellen Mond and very low on Justin Fields for that matter, and high on Zach Wilson. So I'm big Chris Sims fan for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that like Jordan Love is a name that's going to be traded, and Pat McAfee thinks it's going to be to the Falcons. I think that'd be interesting to see if he sits behind Ryan for another year, because I do think Atlanta isn't going to address that quarterback situation. I think they still think they're close, but it'll be interesting to see where they go with that high pick.
Yeah. Again, the Julio Jones trade rumors have also been heating up. However, they expressed that due to cap reasons, they're not going to trade him until after June 1st. There are a lot of issues with the Atlanta Falcons that kind of inhibited them from winning games. And the very poor play at the quarterback position was not really one of them. Matt Ryan is not the best he's ever been, but he was still an average QB. He was still middle of the pack for touchdowns and yards. And, there's a lot of Matt Ryan slander going around, and they should trade him and his contract stinks. But, it's not Matt Ryan's fault Todd Gurley scored on that play against the Lions, and they like that. You can't put that on Matt Ryan. So
Fair.
There are a lot of teams out there, the Patriots included. I'd be thrilled if Matt Ryan came in and was the quarterback for the Patriots. That'd be great. I don't care how old he is. I don't care if he costs $23 million a year. I felt the same way about Matthew Stafford. That guy can still ball.
Yeah, agreed.
We have a
Okay.
Kyle Pitts in Atlanta would be a great fit, which I agree with.
Yeah.
That would be a crazy.
I do want to say,
cool.
on a lot of comments about your facial hair right now. We have from Nav, Matan is a stooge. Adam, when Cam said 4.3, I think he was giving Matan a rating on his facial hair. We'll give you a short 30-second platform to rebut those claims. Rebut.
Okay, so originally it was going to be like a COVID until I got my second vaccine thing, because I'm wearing the mask anyway, so let's see what happens.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the problem then became is that the hairs, and I don't want to say anything gross. It looked very pubic, if I'm being honest. So when I got my second vaccine, I did trim it, so it looks significantly better than it did, but it still doesn't look great. But I will say it does look better over video camera, so take that.
Let's get your mortal lock now that you kind of got that out of your system.
Okay. Wait. First, I have a question for you guys, and this is my last question. Then I'll give you a bit of a mortal lock. My question for you all: who do you think the Giants should take? I personally think they should trade back if they can get a good trade, because I don't know what their dire needs are. I think Golladay was a great draft. I'm not dying for Devonta Smith. Obviously, if they can get the kid from Clemson, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So here's
unless you, I mean, sorry.
I feel like the Giants are still kind of suffering from that gigantic contract they gave Olivier Vernon when they were just desperate for that big-time pass rusher that they did not get. I think they could always use another edge rusher, especially, you think about the division they're in. You're going to get Ryan Fitzpatrick, who, when's the last time he started a 16-game season? Or if Heineke comes in, and then it's Jalen Hurts, and it's going to be Dak Prescott coming off ACL surgery. So edge rushers are going to be really, really important. O-line also, to protect Daniel Jones, I think is going to be important, whether or not you have confidence in your first-round pick from last year to improve. Because, they've had some first-round O-linemen that have done the opposite of improved.
Andrew Thomas did get better as the season went on, though. I will say that is the first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
we're not even close to the last couple of weeks. I think he became a completely different player. All right, my mortal lock. Here we go. A little bit of a prop that you can sprinkle on that NFL draft. Over 5.5 quarterbacks to be drafted in the first round.
Over
5.5. So that's Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, Lance, Jones, and Mond.
I think it could be Mond. The kid from Stanford has a little bit of chatter.
The first round, Matan. We're talking about the first round of the NFL draft.
I'm going to take the but it's going to be 5. I think
Of course, 5.5 is the perfect number.
I think somebody is going to reach. I think I forget who it was. Somebody was talking about that 2011 draft where people are just taking quarterbacks and everybody's just worried. I think somebody's going to grab another one.
Wow.
All right, we'll see. Matan, thanks so much for coming to the fan line. We appreciate it.
Lock it down.
I also want to say that I'm getting a little hate in the comments from members of the Gural family that don't you love when Pats fans ignore the Brady loss? I mean, I'm not ignoring the Brady loss. I mean, I'm not saying like can't lose the answer, but I mean, yeah, it stings, and like 7-9 was still better than 2-14. So I don't know. Maybe we can leave it at that.
That's a fair point.
I would agree.
The Gural family, we have a deep hatred for the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's
Rightfully so. Understood. Right back at you. David Mills is the Stanford quarterback that Matan was referencing. Let's just play this out for a second. Let's say David Mills does go in the first round. Let's say he goes late first round. What teams, late first round do we think are gonna go for this dude?
If I had to take one guess, I think it would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think
Interesting.
Pick 32. Tom Brady's on the second year of his contract. I know he has an extension in the works, or definitely has extended. But I think they could be looking to the future at this point. They have a solid team. They can sign any free agent they want because everyone wants to play with Brady. So why not try and get that QB?
Yeah, I think that's a good take. I think the Saints is an interesting take. Right, they're coming into the year. Jameis Winston is their quarterback, but Jameis is going to Jameis. Bears is also not a bad pick. They haven't really had a stable quarterback situation since, when Jay Cutler had like those 2 good years, and then or when Rex Grossman took him to the Super Bowl, and that wasn't even stable. So like you can't really ever count the Bears out to take a quarterback.
Well, it's also the Bears apparently tried to give like every pick they have for the next 3 years for Russell Wilson, and they still said no. So. Yeah, I would say the Bears would be a good landing spot. With that, we got Adam coming on the fan line.
Yeah.
Which Adam?
It's got to be Adam.
It's lame at this point.
It really is, especially because Adam Newman doesn't come on. I think that's why it's lame. If they both still came on, but no top box, don't care about the future. I don't know. Adam, how's it going?
Wow, I was very, very aggressive on the fan call button. So kudos to Matan for beating me, because I was literally, as soon as it became live, my thumb is just conditioned to be in the right spot. So I guess he wanted it more this week. Great to see you guys back together. As always, I try to steer away from Patriots conversation, but just because there's so many Patriots fans on the call, but I have to ask this week. Given that it could be a quarterback rush in the first 10 picks, if one of those top-tier receivers dropped to the Patriots, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith from Alabama, Jamar Chase, even my boy, the speedster, Rondale Moore from Purdue, if they drop to the Patriots, do you trust Bill Belichick to take one of these studs of a receiver at 15, given his horrific track record at receiver? Like, are these guys too good to be bad? Or is Belichick so bad at picking receivers that he should avoid it, even if like Devonta Smith or Jamar Chase drop to him?
It'd be hard not to pick the Heisman Trophy winner. That I will say. That's a good question. I'm not sure how to answer it.
I stumped Yoni.
I think if the Patriots don't go quarterback, they are going wide receiver. And there's plenty of options in this draft, whether it be Waddle or Smith or I don't think any of those guys are going to drop to 15. You guys might trade up for wide receiver, honestly. I would say it's wide receiver or quarterback guaranteed in the first round. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, J.C. Horn is another guy who just keeps coming up, and that's a position Belichick picks really well in. Yeah, I think Devonta Smith specifically, if the Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver is there at 15.
No way he's going at 15.
It's possible. I don't know. I mean,
people are down on his size.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Jalen Waddle's he's going to get a bad rap because he was hurt. Bateman, a guy in Minnesota, he was an opt-out. I think Rondale Moore was also an opt-out. So
yeah. So I don't know. I'm tempted to just like go another position, take a defensive box guy. If we draft another amazing wide receiver that does nothing, I don't want to say that's fireable, but like that would just be like another waste of a first round pick. Yeah, that would be bad. Second question. Falcons have the 5th pick in the draft. News came out today about Julio Jones possibly being on the trading block. Fourth overall pick. Are we seeing a new leaf being turned in Atlanta? Are they going to be out with Matt Ryan, draft a quarterback, trade for Julio Jones, get some capital, start this thing over with their young defense, or are they going to try to keep the band together for one more year, get another piece that can help out to make a playoff push in the NFC South?
Well, I think part of Julio Jones being on the trade block had also pulled to them maybe getting Kyle Pitts or one of those receiver options, because if they're looking to move off Julio Jones, they might think they have another high-flying receiver coming in.
It's tough because I was just so high on Matt Ryan before Matan, and we're talking about like Julio Jones so productive, Matt Ryan so productive. Do you want to keep the band together? Well, the band went 4-12 last year, so you might want to get some new members in said band. Todd Gurley, they paid a lot of money. He is not the answer at all. Calvin Ridley's a stud.
Yeah.
Definitely need to work on that offensive line. I think Matt Ryan still has a lot of ball in him. New head coach also in Atlanta is going to look to change things up. It's hard, right? I feel like both those guys have a lot of good ball left in them. They also went 4-12. It's a hard thing to balance. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to give up what the Falcons are looking for in Julio Jones. That is going to be a hard trade to execute.
I feel like there's no middle ground. Like either you trade Julio Jones, prepare to move on from Matt Ryan and start over, or you keep everybody together. Like if you're still trying to win, why get rid of Julio Jones? He's a lot of money, but if you have him and Calvin Ridley, it's pretty unstoppable. Like why go to the middle ground? Why either go all in for the next 2 seasons or cut your losses and do something else and pick a quarterback with your fourth.
Yeah, and I agree, right? If the Atlanta Falcons pick Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle out of Oregon, with the 4th pick, then that means they're going to try to protect Matt Ryan. They're going to try to help the run game. They're going to keep the band together. If they pick Jamar Chase, then yeah, some new things are coming in Atlanta, and I think we'll know a lot from who they pick, whether or not, or how aggressive they're going to be in moving Julio Jones.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go QB at 4, though. I think that's also what your question is, right? It is, are they going to try and restart this franchise? I would say no. I think they're going to try and go all in on Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I got a bold prediction tonight. It's sponsored tonight by something different. Just kidding. It's not. It's Nectar. It's Nectar of the Gods. It's been Nectar of the Gods for 3,000 years, and it will continue to be Nectar of the Gods. Lots of changes, lots of peaks and valleys this COVID season, now going on more than a year. But there's one constant. It's the fresh, crisp, delicious taste of a natural light.
We have light.
Or cold.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. The sponsorship is spreading on every corner of the globe.
See a natty, send a natty.
See a natty, send a natty. Excellent. Ethan Sorcher. I've tried Natty Light popsicles. And it's a 4.3 out of 10. I will say to keep it consistent. Here's my bold prediction: the Chicago Bears are going to run back a Mitch Trubisky 2.0. They're going to see all the quarterbacks go in the top 8 picks. They're going to panic. They're going to sell the farm to get in the top 10 or maybe 10. They're going to draft Mac Jones, and Mac Jones is going to be terrible, and he's going to screw their draft up for the next 2 years. Because, like you said, they tried to just give away 3 first-round picks to get Russell Wilson. They are a team that is one quarterback, or they think they're a team that is one quarterback away from making waves in the NFC North, and they're going to try to make a splash to get one of these top 5 quarterbacks. And it's probably going to be Mac Jones, and it's probably going to be another disaster. That's your bold prediction.
Hashtag save Allen Robinson. Yeah. It's not as much that Mac Jones will suck. It's just that's kind of what the Bears do to quarterbacks. And it would be a panic move to take Mac Jones at 8. I agree with that.
Yeah. I think the Bears at 20 are probably one of the worst positions in the draft.
Yeah.
They're not that great.
They made the playoffs. They got some dogs on defense. Khalil Mack is still one of the top 3 edge rushers in the league. But yeah, that's another team kind of like the Washington football team where making the playoffs kind of screwed them. Yeah. They started off 5-1 and just couldn't tank right. Great bold prediction. See you, Natty. Send the Natty. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on.
Pleasure as always. Talk to you later.
Cam's got a legitimate Falcons question,
As opposed to an illegitimate Falcons question.
which we usually have, I
Yes.
guess. If not trading Jones or Ryan, who already restructured, who else goes? Because right now they can't even sign their draft picks. They're that close to the cap.
First of all,
As Nav says,
the cap is fake. So let's just get that out of the way. I don't know. I mean, like rounds 4 through 7 aren't really going to cost you very much. And again, if you don't draft a quarterback, they should make it work. They'll cut guys. They'll restructure guys. I feel like signing rookies is always the easiest part to sign. They just cut Tack McKinley a couple months ago, who was their first round pick from a few years ago. So that'll free something up. I don't know. I mean, they could talk to Matt and Ryan and say, listen, dude, we're going to sign this first round pick. Will you take $2 million less this year?
Right.
And like Matt Ryan might say yes. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the number is. But yeah, if they go over the cap, it's not a big deal because the cap is fake. We got Lev coming up next on the fan line. Most likely talk Pats. Lev, I will say, I know a lot of really, really big Patriots fans. Lev is the biggest Julian Edelman fan I know. Sad day. It was a bar mitzvah present from my family to his. Was a Julian Edelman jersey.
Wow.
And this was in 2011. So he was like, good, not great.
Yeah.
So
I was
Oh,
have to recall.
yeah. So sad
For
day
all
when
the
he
fans in the
retired.
my bar mitzvah was 2010.
That
Was my present for the Offit family.
was a jersey. I've had that jersey ever since. Have worn it almost every Patriots game. That jersey has come with me on plane rides in which the Patriots have been playing. It went to China on a plane ride. That jersey is now retired, as Julian Edelman is retired with a 69% chance of joining the Buccaneers. Does Julian Edelman have any chance of coming back to the NFL?
No, I think he's done.
Why would he do it?
Yeah.
He just
I
signed
think
with sports too, right?
Unless he's going
Yeah.
to the Bucs. Yeah. I think unless he goes to the Bucks, there's no way.
Yeah.
Which it seems like anyone could unretire and go to the Bucks.
My
Marshawn Lynch, right?
question to you is the question that's swirling around is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? His stats and stuff would say no, but there have only been like 40 people
Yes.
that ever Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. Edelman is not statistically a Hall of Famer, yet he will make the Hall of Fame, is my prediction.
Wow.
Is that like the Eli Manning
I
argument?
think. Yeah, he's too beloved.
He's going to keep coming back.
Second most reception yard.
Receiving yards, NFL history in the postseason, only behind Jerry Rice,
Yeah.
Has won a Super Bowl MVP.
MVP. And
Whenever you're to Jerry Rice
in any
new category.
category, receiving wise, I think you're going to make the Hall of Fame, even if you regular season. My question, though, is will there ever be another stud, extremely productive, small white receiver in the NFL? Brady is almost retiring because the last two stud white receivers in the last 30 years were Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, just so happened to be on Tom Brady's team.
Yeah, we're going to draft one this year in the 7th round, and he's going to be working at Target.
And who's going to pass? Who's going to pass him the ball?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying to think of one single one.
Wayne Corbett for the Jets wasn't bad in the
True,
early
but-
2000s.
Yeah.
It's a dying breed, I guess. Cole Beasley's out there. He's not bad. Scotty Miller in Tampa, but he plays
Mike
with
Evans
Brady. But Mike Evans is like 6'5".
Okay, right.
So, yeah, I mean, wide receivers are getting bigger, faster, stronger. Those gritty guys will always pop up, but yeah,
Just the hardest worker on the field.
yeah, those
It's just they're always in the film room. They're gritty.
yeah.
Sneaky fast.
Cooper Kupp is a good one by Nav. He's a little bit bigger.
Kupp's
Like,
A little bit bigger.
but I don't think anyone's going to put up the numbers Wes and Edelman have put up in their career. They probably owe it to Brady. My question, the draft, is I've heard a lot of waves today on the Pat McAfee show. It was on First Take that some
Thinks that
they know that Belichick is trading into the top 10, top 5 to draft a quarterback. Do you have inclination that this is going to be Belichick going to ruin the future of the Patriots in order to take a gamble on a quarterback?
Jordy Nelson's also kind of a big guy. If the 49ers draft a quarterback, which they probably will, and then picks 4 until 15, Mac Jones and Trey Lance have to survive. then the Patriots will have to make some move. That's what the Patriots have been doing for the past week. Is teams do it. They run through mock drafts. It's like, okay, 3 quarterbacks are off the board. Who are we calling for a trade? What are we going to offer? 2 quarterbacks are off the board. How long can we wait? Maybe these teams trade. I mean, teams are going through these drills right now.
I think the Patriots are going to try and trade up to 8 with the Panthers. And I think that's where they're going to try and hop in front of Denver, who's really looking at a quarterback right now. And I think that's what they're going to take their guy.
Also, Cam is upset in major disrespect not dropping Danny Amendola along with Wes Welker and Julian Edelman.
Yes, Danny Amendola. Danny Clutch Amendola wasn't as productive as, but came through on those 3rd and 18s.
Yeah.
So a quick question before the final question is if quarterback will, because Kyle Shanahan had a ridiculous quote today in which he was asked if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the roster by Sunday, and he said he cannot ensure anyone will be alive by Sunday, which is a psycho quote. If the 49ers draft a quarterback, will Jimmy Garoppolo be shipping up to Boston?
That would be unreal if that circle of events happens. I don't think so. I think the Patriots are looking to restart with a rookie.
It's such a small amount of time between when the 49ers draft and the Patriots draft. Could they get a quarterback? Could they get Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, so much can happen in such it's going to be 11 picks in the first round, which is like, the average of 10 minutes a pick. So like, it's actually like an hour and almost 2 hours. But, on draft day that, moves like a second. I can't imagine they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo on the payroll for $25 million to back someone up. But again, we've talked about on the show a lot that teams will draft guys in the first. I mean, Patrick Mahomes sat his first year. Aaron Rodgers sat his first year. Jordan Love is sitting in Green Bay right now. There are a lot of, somebody in Carolina is going to have to sit. There are a lot of young, competent quarterbacks that have benefited by sitting a year. So it could very well happen that the 49ers pick Mac Jones or they pick Trey Lance and they ride it out with Jimmy Garoppolo for the year. And like, this is going to be our guy for the future, just not the 2021 season.
I think if they take Mac Jones at 3, they're shipping off Jimmy.
Okay.
But I think if they go Trey Lance, they're going to have Trey Lance sit. I think they see him as more of a raw prospect, and they're going to have Jimmy G start the year for a while.
All right, and last question of the night. This is the most important one. Do you see any non-college football players being either drafted this year or signed as undrafted free agents within the first week?
Non-college? Like
non-college foot? No, not. I'll rephrase that. Players. So I'm thinking, your former that turn into punt.
The Patriots.
Will there be any of those within the first week?
The one that people forget about the Patriots is Jeff Demps, who was a running back at Florida, but was also an Olympic sprinter, and they signed him to return, and he was like not that good.
I don't know anything about that.
I can't think of anyone that comes to mind other than Chris Hogan.
Braxton Berrios? No.
Did he play another sport?
Every
I
once
don't
in a while
know.
there's a
I mean, I
rugby
guess my
player.
gut tells me.
Wait.
Or one of those big Samoan dudes come play O-line. I mean, yeah, it's possible. Sure. I mean, I'm here for it.
I'd like to see that in the sports book this week.
I don't know. We'll see. Good question. Appreciate you coming on. Sorry about Edelman again, but we will be looking forward to doing the draft. Did he go off? Did we just lose him? Oh, okay. All right,
Frisbee
there he is.
players. We need some ultimate Frisbee players in the NFL.
We need some.
Brody
UNL
Smith,
guys.
wide receiver, New York Jets.
He's pretty old. I mean, like maybe in like 2013, and he had some surgeries too, didn't he?
When he was making those trick shot videos,
So would he play quarterback or would he play? Because he's a disc golfer now. So if anything, he would.
He'd play quarterback.
Yeah.
Nah, he's dumb. There's no way.
Yeah, of course.
Braxton Berrios play football down in Miami.
Again, I think it's a consensus right now. The 49ers are definitely going quarterback. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they wouldn't trade that
would be the number one thing that would shake up this draft is if the 49ers did not pick a quarterback. I think the Jets picking Justin Fields would also shake up the draft just as much. We have Evan coming up next on the fan line. I've seen him in the comments before, long-time watcher, I think first-time fan liner. So
Wow.
I'm really happy to have him on.
Soon.
Hopefully. Maybe Evan's also going to do something where he comes on from somewhere and then also comes down from upstairs.
downstairs.
Evan, how's it going?
I mean, not great Wi-Fi here in New Mexico, but really excited. Really been enjoying the show so far. I got some questions about defense, less sexy side of the ball. I have two bets for how defenders go in the draft, and I want to hear if you guys think I'm going to lose my money or not. So
Okay.
First of all, not many great defensive players in the top 10, it looks like. You know, we don't have a Chase Young. We don't have any more Bosas, I don't think.
Right?
We'll see, maybe more. So I think I have Patrick Surtain going to be the first defender off the board. And then the other one I have is 13 or fewer defensive players drafted overall. So, you know, I'm hoping. But I guess my bigger question that I'm hoping you guys can go deep on is I've seen a lot of edge defenders, orders for edge defenders. You got Owe, the guy at Penn State who didn't record a single sack. You got Kwity Paye at Michigan. You got two guys from Miami, former #1 overall recruit with multiple concussions, quit football for a little bit. So I was just hoping to get your guys' take on the defensive ends. And you both have teams that could maybe be interested, you know, in the middle of the round where they might even have their choice of the top edge guys. So, yeah, I was hoping to hear more from you guys.
Yeah. Surtain going first, I think, is a good pick. I just think he's the best overall talent. He's a guy who could have declared last year, didn't, stayed. You think about a guy who could have been a first rounder last year, stayed at Alabama, and is still going to be a first round pick. He kind of put himself on the spot to produce again, and he did it. So, hats off to him. I definitely think he'll be the first guy to go. He is an athletic freak. He's got crazy ball skills. I think in terms of defensive ends, the guy who is still elite and is just at the bottom of the elite guys not getting a lot of love is Boogie Basham. It's Boogie Basham at Wake Forest or, Rousseau at Miami. Rousseau's just this gigantic dude. Is he, bendy enough? Is he athletic enough? He's not. He can't just go through people like he did at the college level. I think those guys are going to be the value picks, right? Owe from Penn State and Kwity Paye from Michigan are going to go high, and they deserve to go high, and they're going to have good careers. But the question is, at the end of the first round, even the beginning of the second round, who's going to take Rousseau? Who's going to take Boogie Basham and get a really, really good value pick? I know, the Jets also have, picks after number 2 where they could be looking at a defensive end.
Yeah, so I'll start with the first question. I think Micah Parsons, I've also seen.
You think he's going to be
I've been seeing him, yeah, just because I feel like every year you just have one guy who's an athletic freak who can play a bunch of positions.
Opted out, which people don't like.
Right, people do not like that. But that would be my guess. Along the lines of the Jets, I've been seeing Greg Newsome's name over every single mock draft. I mean, Jets desperately need cornerback help. I don't think
defensive end.
I don't think we're going to go defensive end. We brought in Carl Lawson. We have Quinnen Williams. We brought in the guy from the Eagles, blanking on his name. I think our D-line is set. I think we really need some secondary help.
13 defensive players. That's right on the nose. I'm going to say over because I think somebody towards the end will take one of those fringe defensive ends I was talking about and kind of push it over 13. That's my thought. So I think it'll just a hair. It'll sneak over because once those quarterbacks are gone, the defense is going to start to take over.
I think I might go under because I don't even see in the top 12 there being.
No, but 15 to 30.
Yeah, 15 to 30.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's a good question. I'd hit the over.
I'll go under.
Okay.
I'm going to be at the edge of my seat because it's going to be 1, 2 in the top 10, but then there's going to just be some run on corners
or ends or something. I'm going to ask
this question, then sign off. So you got Patrick Surtain in this draft, son of an NFL player. You got J.C. Horn in this draft, son of an NFL player. Which current NFL you think will have the most talented child to be in the 2035 NFL draft?
Because And we're back. Hopefully you got that short 3-second ad from Natural Light, Nectar of the Gods, for over 3,000 years. Hopefully you can still hear us. If you can't, we will just run another Natural Light ad, but you can hear us. Oh yeah, NFL players' sons. I have no thoughts. I'm just going to say Frank Gore because he's playing FBS football right now and it's the safest pick.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to be guessing at this point.
Yeah.
I guess from there we could. Is there anyone that's waiting on the fan line? I guess
we don't. We have a lot of underwater questions. Oh, now we got someone on the fan line. We got Dan active in the comments. We got Nav active in the comments. Hopefully, get on the fan line.
Oh, we got Nav coming on.
Speaking of fish, let's reel a fan in.
That hurt.
I mean, I don't know. You just
That
got
was good. I like that one.
Nav. How's it going?
Good, guys. How are you? Long
Doing well.
time. Glad the show's back. I don't really have any Patriots questions because I'm kind of tired of them. Like, I feel like all these analysts are just
Get the fuck
saying,
out. No.
yeah. I mean, sure, that's fine. My lock. I'll start with my lock. I have the Colts reaching for a second round wide receiver, like skill level, early at 21. So it's Kadarius Toney, Elijah Moore, or is it Rondale Moore, the dude from Purdue, or Rashad Bateman. I think they're gonna get one of those dudes early. It's not like that hot take of a lock, I guess. I don't know. I'm just very tired of this draft.
It's interesting because, they picked Michael Pittman in the second round last year. So you think they're going to spend another high pick. And it is tough because like the last time this team went wide receiver in the first round, it was Philip Dorsett, which did not work out. Much different team now, but it is interesting, I think, with that take. I don't think it's a bad take, and I don't think it's to say no one will reach on those guys, but the Colts specifically, T.Y. Hilton on the way out is a good one, but they did pick Michael Pittman. They're big throwing the tight ends. They're big in running the ball. That's kind of how I would respond.
Yeah, I
think I'm getting swayed by Pat McAfee a little bit because I know he wants Julio to go to the Colts. So I feel like why spend whatever, like $15 million this year for Julio? Just draft Kadarius. I think Kadarius Toney is going to be the best wide receiver draft. That dude is so good.
Robert Corral says hi, Nav, by the way.
Yeah, Robert Corral's been chirping a lot. I can see where Paul gets his whole hates the Patriots more than he likes his Jet stuff. Makes sense. Runs in the family.
Really lives in the family.
Yeah, the wide receivers, it's going to be very fluid, and like a reach on a wide receiver is really going to just depend on who else is left on the board. And a lot of it you're saying also, it's going to be like dominoes, right? If it gets to 21 and all those receivers are gone, the Colts will be like, everyone's taking a receiver. Should we take a receiver? I guess we'll take a receiver. Let's take a receiver, right?
Yeah.
I think they might go O-line, though, to build around their new running back. I think that's been like –
they lost Costanzo to retirement.
Right. And bringing in Carson Wentz, who – may not be the best anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So I think they might go O-line. There's gonna be
I have one hot take and then one question, and then my hot take: Teddy Bridgewater and Jimmy Garoppolo will both be traded during round one. I think Jimmy will be traded right before the 49ers pick. Same with the Panthers. And then my question is: rank the 5 quarterbacks in terms of who do you think will have the most successful NFL career 15 years out to least?
Okay.
Wait.
So Bridgewater and Garoppolo traded in the first round.
I don't think so. I think Jimmy G's staying in San Fran.
I think the Panthers are going to have a quarterback competition. I don't think they brought in Sam Darnold to hand him that job on a silver platter.
Yeah, but Bridgewater stinks.
Yeah, he does. He's not that good. I don't think he's as good as Sam Darnold, but I think that will be a camp battle. I don't think they're gonna dump Teddy Bridgewater, and that's
Which
a
is
team
so
that's
funny. They
that's-
did that on the Jets.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a team that's had a lot of injury issues at quarterback over the last 5 years. And it's just going to be like, if they trade another good backup, it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me
Yeah,
twice.
but that's like a $20 million backup. Like, that's expensive. Just
Bridgewater?
hold a clipboard. Yeah, he has a fat contract, right? Like, that's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to trade for him. But I think, like, a team like the Bears, who are really desperate to, like, find a player, like, with Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy potentially on the way out, or the Broncos, you know, how John Elway loves those big dudes who are kind of mid. I could see either of those teams making a swing for Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now for the rank. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, and rank the QBs.
I guess I had one question for you, just so
Sure.
the NFL cap, is it real?
It's not real, dude. Once you when the Saints were like $90 million over the cap, and everyone's like, oh my god, they're gonna have to like exile this team. Sean Payton's gonna have to work at Wendy's for a while to like make the money back. Like, and they cut like 6 players and they were fine. Like I don't know. Like the whole like, what was it? The Bucks can't sign anyone now, or there's a team that like can't sign anyone now. No, the Falcons, right? No, they'll be fine. They'll cut like their 3rd string cornerback who's getting paid for like $9 million for some stupid reason. They'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
the cap is not real.
Is Trevor Lawrence your number one?
Trevor Lawrence is my
Trevor
number
Lawrence
one,
is
yeah.
my number one. He's that good. You know, Cam Newton was the number 1 pick for the Panthers. 4 years later, he's an MVP, an NFC champion. I think Trevor Lawrence can have a similar trajectory. That division is not good.
Yeah.
It's
Also, that
possible.
team is set up that for the next few years they have the most draft capital and free agent money, so
Yeah.
they're looking good.
Your number 2?
My number 2, because I think Trey Lance is going to the 49ers, I'm going to say 2 is Trey Lance. I think he has a lot of really good talent. I think the 49ers is a great fit for him, Kyle Shanahan offense.
I'm going to say 2 is Justin Fields. I think especially if Justin Fields goes to San Francisco, which it looks like he might, that can be a great fit, a great way to pull the 49ers out of that rut. That's a team that people forget are still just 2 years away from winning the NFC. I like Justin Fields as my number 2.
My number 3 is going to be Zach Wilson. I think the Jets have a lot going for them in the next few years. I think that Zach Wilson has a lot of talent that, if he doesn't get injured, will show with a new revitalized Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur offense.
My number 3 is definitely Trey Lance. I think he is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the draft. He has a lot of the skills that Zach Wilson has, and he's also 4 inches and like 25 pounds bigger. So, you know, I give the edge to Lance there. 3. He'll also go a little bit later to a little bit more of a competent team, someone not picking the top 5.
My 4th would be probably Mac Jones, because I think a team that's going to go for him is probably either going to be the Patriots. I don't know. Other team. I think if a team is traded for Mac Jones,
maybe.
yeah, they feel like they are going to know how to use them correctly. So
I'm going to go Zach Wilson as my number 4. I think the style of play in the NFL is starting to conform more to those mobile quarterbacks. Not running. He's not a running quarterback like, say, Lamar Jackson is or like Michael Vick was, but he is a mobile quarterback. I think his improvisation skills will help him overcome what he doesn't have at size. Is he going to take the Jets to the playoffs in year 1 or 2? Probably not, but he'll put up numbers. I think Zach Wilson with the Jets could make a Rookie of the Year campaign move. Yeah, he's my number 4.
I like the sound of that. I think my 5 is Justin Fields. The thing is I could see if Justin Fields is drafted to San Francisco, it changes everything. Whatever quarterback is drafted to San Francisco is honestly my 2. But I just don't think Justin Fields is going there. I think he's going to go to a team like the Broncos, maybe.
They love Drew Lock. They love Drew Lock in Denver.
For some stupid reason, dude. That guy stinks. He's
Heard a lot.
not good.
I don't know. that makes my 5th come out to Mac Jones. Yeah, he won a lot of big football games for a really, really good football team. But like, your number 1 wide receivers aren't going to be Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, especially if you get
Yeah, they're
drafted.
going to be George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. He'll be
You're
just
gonna
fine.
compare it-
Mac Jones is my number 1. I have I guess another hot take. I think they win a Super Bowl in 3 years with Mac Jones as QB. I'm all in. They're going to draft him at number 3. Yeah, number 3. Trade Jimmy to whatever team. I don't know. Maybe they let Jimmy run it for 1 year. But yeah, Mac Jones will be the first to win a Super Bowl out of all 5 QBs.
Wow.
If you're going up from 12 to 3 and you're picking Mac Jones, which could just be like arguably a little bit better than Jimmy Garoppolo, like
He's so much cheaper though.
yeah, it's cheaper, but similar type of player.
Yeah, I'll say this too. Cam is kind of pushing the envelope on this. If you had to pick a 6, you can only pick one guy as a 6. Is it David Mills out of Stanford or Kellen Mond out of A&M?
Kyle Trask, baby. No. Actually, Kellen Mond. I like Kellen Mond a lot.
Kyle Trask.
But I think Kyle Trask could be good too. I think people saying he's immobile, kind of not really true. Like, I don't know, like, if he's immobile, Tom Brady like doesn't know how to walk, right? I think Kyle Trask can move. I don't think he's going to be that great, but I think he's probably my number 6 ahead of Kellen Mond.
Yeah, I like David Mills. I mean,
Yeah.
accuracy, capital A.
David Mills has played like 6 games though.
Yeah, it's
David
tough,
Mills has
right?
barely played any football.
Well, it's a risk. It could be a value pick.
Yeah.
To exceed expectations. A great question. Appreciate it. Cap is fake. Cap is fake.
Cap is fake, bro. All right, take care, guys.
Mr. Garral, you're more than happy to come on the fan line and we can have a
Oh.
debate. And wait, I mean, not to embarrass anybody, but we appreciate you sticking on, this long. We're now, coming in on the 50th minute of the show. So we do appreciate it. We got a fan coming in. Paul is really hoping it's Dan. He's really hoping it's Dan. Oh, it's Ethan. It's Ethan. Ethan coming in on the fan line. All good. Paul's heart was racing there for a second. Thought we were going to have a little familial visit. All right, Ethan,
I mean,
coming in.
Paul's heart should still be racing because, we have a history here of the bashing. So he should be prepared to take a Jets bashing any moment from me. But I uphold the truth, so don't worry.
Sure.
All right, bring it, Ethan.
Well, I've heard a lot of interesting takes and I've heard a lot of garbage takes, but I won't reveal what I personally believe. But, I think one thing is I do believe Mac Jones is going number 3 to San Francisco. I think Kyle Shanahan calls the shots there. And if he wants Mac Jones, I think he'll take him. I don't think Jimmy will be traded, though. That's my thing. I think they'll keep him for a year and try to deal him. They'll try to deal him next year. Because if you look at the pick-wise, they don't have a first-round pick next year. So if you really – they're not going to get a first-round pick for him anyway this year. So if they think they can get a first-round pick for him, they'll wait a year. So that's why I think personally, even if they go ahead and decide to draft Lance, I still think they will take a flyer on Garoppolo this year.
There's always a situation where there's a team that's like 6-6 or 7-6 and their quarterback is hurt and they're like, oh, if we could just trade for a quarterback that'll push us to the playoffs. The San Francisco 49ers will then swoop in said situation. Like, listen, if you want to make the playoffs, we got your guy. You need to pay up.
Right.
Although 7-6 is past the trade deadline, but the point still stands.
I also think that in terms of the draft, we know who the top 3 picks are quarterbacks, okay? We can debate who gets who unless the Jets decide to pull a Music City Miracle here, or actually the draft's in Cleveland. So a rock and roll miracle here, and decide to take, Fields over Wilson or something. We pretty much know it's Lawrence, Wilson, and then some mystery quarterback at 3. So the real draft starts at 4, in my opinion. And I personally believe that if Atlanta takes a quarterback, it's a mistake. I think they might as well take a weapon to help out that defense, the offense, or take some defensive player, but it's too high for a defensive player, or trade back. So ultimately, this draft is coming down to the race. It's the race for the quarterbacks and the offensive linemen. So the first 11 picks, and I include the Giants in this, people are going to try getting a quarterback there because the moment that you're right, Mac Jones goes 3 or whoever the hell goes number 3, you're going to have the Patriots and the Bears start calling up to see what they can do. So personally, I think that the first 11 picks are going to be the most active we've seen in a long time. I don't think Denver takes a quarterback. I think you're right. They're too high on Drew Lock to draft someone that high. I think they'd take a 3rd rounder or 4th rounder and ship it to Carolina for Teddy Bridgewater to give some competition to Drew Lock there. So that's what I personally think would be a good idea for them. And they take another defensive player or something, because if you can get that quarterback position straightened out in Denver, the team has a pretty good setup already.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be active. I think this was like the first time in like 20 years or ever that Mel Kiper put in mock trades in his mock draft.
Right.
It was like the first time he'd ever done that. So,
Which, you should.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm a fan of it.
It's hard to do. Like, predicting the draft is already hard enough.
Yeah.
Predicting trades is like
Trades.
impossible.
There's also going to be that mid-20s, like Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, who you also could see being active because they don't have offensive linemen. So you could to get an offensive lineman, to get some left tackle or some other person to help them there. So I think it's going to be, it's not just the first 11 picks. I think it's going to be like between, 1 through 20 that you're going to see a lot of movement.
I
Right.
hope so. There's talk of the Jets trading up at 23 to get an offensive lineman.
That's stupid. Stay
Washburn.
where they are.
Really? Ethan,
Yeah.
quick word about your Giants. What do you think they're going to do?
Personally, I have two options. I think that I think Matan was right. And, he and I don't agree a whole lot on methods for the Giants, but I think that if they have an option to trade back, I would rather see them trade back at this point because I'd rather see them take more picks that impact. Like you're sitting there at number 11 and you have, both Alabama wide receivers, Slater and Micah Parsons available. And you have to pick one, but someone calls and says, let's trade. I'd rather see them trade and just not make the wrong decision there and get someone at, pick 19 or something, or even 15 and get like an extra third or fourth with it.
Yeah.
I'll
ask you the question I asked Matan. Are you concerned with the Giants' lack of success in drafting O-linemen? That if there's a good O-lineman, similar to the question Adam asked about Patriots wide receivers, that if there's a good O-lineman there for the New York Giants, you just would stay away from him in the first round, given their track record, or if the right guy is there, you take him again.
Here's the thing. I think that the two top offensive linemen in this draft, like last year, you couldn't tell who the number one offensive lineman was. It was really anyone's game. And the Giants thought Thomas was. And I will say this. I give him the benefit of the doubt. There was not a traditional off season. So I think that really went into effect of his preparedness for the season, and he got better going down the stretch. I think that's the first thing to make sure you put in there. But I think this year it's so set who the top two are, and then it's debatable. So if one of those two top guys are there at 11, I think you have to go with them. And I only say that, this is what I was going to say, the second thing is I would rather pass, as much as I would love to stick it to Philadelphia and take like Waddle or Smith, the last like top 3 receiver on the board, and say, fuck you, Philadelphia. I'm going to hope they pass over it and take one of those linemen if they're there for some reason. They're just sitting there. Because, you look at the Giants offseason was giving Daniel Jones the weapons. And I think he can get a quality wide receiver in round 2, round 3, but you're not going to get a quality offensive tackle or guard like you're going to get at the slate, between those two top ones there. So if they're sitting there at 11, I think it's dumb to pass over one of them if they're there. But again, I'm also aboard, if Yoni, if you represent the Patriots, I would say let's make a trade right here, right now. If you want 11,
the Patriots, let's make a trade here, right now. No, I think that's a good analysis. I think whenever you have a guy like Daniel Jones and then Saquon Barkley coming back from injury and offensive linemen, it's never going to be bad.
I was about to say with Saquon Barkley coming off injury, I could almost guarantee that the Giants are going to go.
I'm on the Wayne Gallman train. He did wonders for my fantasy team.
Hey, I'm okay. Can I tell you something? I was hoping that they would sign the Wayne train back. I don't know where the hell Devontae Booker came from.
So good.
But
he was a guaranteed 12 fantasy points.
Let me tell you this though. I think it's better for him that he's in San Francisco now, just because San Francisco already shares the ball so much, and there's no more Coleman. There's no more. I don't think McKinnon's going to really make the roster. I think they're going to find some way to get rid of him. So you're looking at a possibility where if Jeff Wilson goes down and JaMychal Hasty gets on injured reserve before the season starts, the Wayne train is back, baby.
Wayne train is back.
I was dog shit at fantasy this year, so I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, look. He was a good player. I'm really sad he's gone. But you look, Saquon's coming back. I think the Giants, they got the receivers in the free agency. They got some defensive players in free agency. I think now in the first 2 rounds, solidify the pass rusher if you can find someone. Don't overpick. So Payne or all these other guys, they might. I don't think taking them at 11 is a smart idea. You want to trade back and take one, that's a different story. But if you're sitting there 11, Slater's probably most likely one going to be there. Take him. But again, if you want to represent the Patriots, I can work out a trade right here and have my lawyer send over to you by the morning.
We'll work on it. Appreciate it, Ethan. Thanks so much for coming on the fan line.
Thank you.
I know you guys are kidding, but I think the Patriots got to get higher than the Giants to get their quarterback. I think someone's jumping in front of them if they try and go for 11.
Probably.
Yeah, I think 11's too late. I think
it's crazy the difference between like 11 and 10 or 11 and 9.
I think 5 quarterbacks are going into the top 10.
Could mean like the difference between you getting your franchise quarterback or not.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are going to have to do that. Jonah on the fan line to close it out. Most likely, look, if we got fans, we're here for fans.
Yeah.
Here for fans. But Jonah coming in on the fan line. We talk Pats. He's been active in the comments. Patient as always. We appreciate you, Jonah. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. I actually want to talk about the Texans, a team that nobody's really been talking about.
Yeah. because
So-
they're deep shit.
Yeah. So with the whole like Deshaun Watson situation going on, could you see the Texans taking a quarterback with whatever first pick they have? Because I feel like Watson's not going to play really down for Houston.
That's the thing, man. The first pick they have is not for a while, and you're
Is it
not
even
going
in the first round?
Nope, not going to find in the first round. It's tough, man. And I said it on another live stream. I forgot if I said it on another live stream, but I've definitely said it before. I believe the Houston Texans are in the worst shape of any sports team in the big four professional sports leagues in the United States. There's no one in worse shape than the Houston Texans. They traded their best player last year. Their best player this year might not ever play football again. They have no draft capital. They have a brand new head coach coming in, brand new director of player personnel, all that. They are starting from the bottom. They are going to be in a division with the number 1 overall pick quarterback coming in. The Colts are still pretty solid. The Titans are probably going to make the playoffs. They're in deep shit. There's a reason why no one's talking about them, because there is nothing. The Buffalo Sabres are not worse. They're losing a lot of games, but they're going to get the Texans are in bad shape.
Interestingly enough, you said they were in the worst shape of any four of the or any of the 4 major sports teams before Deshaun Watson had the allegations.
Is that right?
Which makes it even funnier and even worse. And I mean, it's true. They traded away their future. Their quarterback was disgruntled and now maybe just completely untradeable. So, yeah.
So, yeah, they could draft a quarterback.
No, they're not going to.
Kyle Trask, maybe.
Because they're going to
Mills,
bottom out
maybe.
anyways. They're going to bottom out no matter
Yeah,
what
that's
they
the
do.
other thing. They could just lean into whoever the backup is and then get the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah.
That's another way to do it. Although I don't think the best player is going to be a quarterback.
Yeah, I think their only active quarterback right now is Tyrod Taylor, who's not really.
Tyrod. Okay, so as long as the trainers don't puncture his lungs, then he should be
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so I'll just go to my prediction right now.
Sure.
Patriots in the draft. This is gonna be like 2 different scenarios.
Okay.
So if they stay at 15, and knowing Micah Parsons, his history, there's some off-field issues. I think if he falls to 15, they're gonna take him. But if the Patriots decide to trade back, I think they're gonna take Xavier Collins.
Okay, Xavier Collins. Xavier Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa. Stud university, Xavier Collins. Let me say that. He is a really, really good player. I think he's a reach at 15. I think it's
No,
what'd you say?
I was saying a trade back if they don't
Trade back.
Mhm.
Okay, but you got
Because-
Dante Hightower coming back. You drafted Anthony Jennings out of Alabama in the 2nd round last year. You kind of got Kyle Duggar playing that rover role. He would fit into what the Patriots are doing. The question is he, the right guy for the Patriots' 1st-round pick? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Patriots leaving the first round without a quarterback. I'm still on that train.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what my reason why. I think Hightower, there's been rumors that he might retire, not even play this year. And then another thing is Hightower is getting up in age, and I think they want to start, planning for the future. And I don't really think right now Winovich and Jennings have really shown a lot of their full potential yet. And I think they might, want to try to lean on more linebackers. And also Collins can also play a bunch of different positions on the field.
Yeah, the versatility is there, and again, that's why I think he fits into what the Patriots are doing. But I think short term, next year, next 2 years, I don't think linebacker is on the top of the Patriots' chopping block. Again, I think Xavier Collins could go to the Patriots and be a Pro Bowler this year, but does that get them over 7-9? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really thinking about record. I was just going based on the way Belichick likes to draft.
Sure.
He's very high on defense. For some reason, doesn't like going offense. So that's how I see it.
Can't pick a wide receiver to save his life. Yeah, it's it's not a bad suggestion. I would not mind the Patriots trading back if their plan is to take, Stanford kid or Trask or Kellen Mond. I would definitely trade back and take a defensive stud.
Would be more Patriots to trade back than to trade up.
Yeah, and Bill we trust, right, Jonah?
Yeah, exactly.
Bill we trust.
Yeah, and Cam we trust also.
Cam Newton, baby. Jonah, thanks so much for coming on the fan line.
Thank you.
It seems as though we have a need for a hockey podcast.
Yeah, that's how you know it's kind of if we're starting to talk about hockey. But we got another fan. Bring the juice back up. Who's it going to be? It's Dan sneaking in on the fan line. Going to talk Saints. I said the Saints should maybe trade up and pick a quarterback, or the Saints are going to go Kellen Mond, one of those guys, because they don't have faith in Jameis Winston. Agree, disagree?
I don't know about trading. Like, honestly, I have no idea what the Saints are going to do. I don't care what they do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, if I'm honestly, like, completely optimistic about our future. Do we take a quarterback like Kellen Mond, Kyle Trask late on? Because Jameis needs a backup. Taysom Hill is not going to be there forever. So, honestly, could care less what we do. I'll take whatever we get.
Wow, that's the spirit.
Yeah. Here's hoping. I want to talk about another team that sort of hasn't been talked about a lot, but the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, Big Ben is old.
That's true.
Are they going to go for a quarterback this year, next year?
Nope. They're going to ride it out. Big Ben is going to keep playing, and they are going to draft defense like they always do in the first round, or maybe an offensive lineman. And they don't really have a running back right now because they let James Conner go, which was a good move, but they still need to fill the hole. And they got good wide receivers, and there's no end in sight for Ben Roethlisberger.
I saw someone in the comments. I don't know who said it. It might have been you, actually. Oh, no, it was Jonah. Saying that Harris is probably going to go to the Steelers, Najee Harris. And
Najee, yeah.
I really see that happening.
Yeah, he'd be good. Good security blanket running back pass catcher for Roethlisberger. He's a big dude. He can pass block. I think that'd be a good pick. But no, they're going to stick with Ben Roethlisberger. He wants to sign another deal. He's going to stay there for a while. This is still a team that was like 11-0 at one point.
The Steelers are like going to be good for no good reason. Again, they always are. They're just the Steelers, so they're good.
3 head coaches in the last 50 years. That's franchise. Crazy.
Do you think that you're going to go with our best friend, or excuse me, Myles Garrett's best friend, Mason Rudolph?
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
Are they going to start 11-0?
Doesn't remember what his middle name is, so they're trying to figure that whole thing out. Maybe.
And obviously, the Steelers are not going 11-0, are they?
Their schedule is definitely going to be tougher, but I don't know.
No, I think I haven't had a look at the Steelers schedule, but yeah, I mean, you have the Ravens at divisions. I think the Browns are still going to be really good. Bengals are only going to get better, so I think the Steelers are going to do worse this year.
Yeah, they'll definitely do worse.
I know I said this last year, but I think the Ravens are going to win the division.
Yeah, Browns are getting better. I'm not counting the Browns out. It's going to be the Browns or the Ravens, But yeah, the Vegas would probably tell me to bet the Ravens.
I'm trying to just think what's not been asked tonight.
Yeah, you're in a tough spot, batting in like the 8 hole, but we have patience and staying on. I mean, a lot of it is because you just don't care about what the Saints are going to do in the draft. So that kind of your material. Okay, I'll give you one last question. Quarterback controversy in the division. Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater. You think they're trading Bridgewater soon? You think it's going to be a quarterback controversy? Do you think there's a possibility Bridgewater could still win that job? What do you think is going to happen?
Does Sam Darnold scare you at all?
Is he again?
Yeah.
Those.
Given what Sam Darnold did on the Jets, he doesn't scare me. No. I know Nav said like that Teddy Bridgewater stinks, but given what he did on the Saints, going 5-0, like I don't think he's that bad. I mean, he might be that bad, but again, that might just because I don't pay attention. Like
Panthers aren't great, Christian McCaffrey got hurt. That didn't help.
Right.
First-year head coach coming out of college, that didn't help.
Yeah.
But they have good wide receivers though, like Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore.
Yeah, Samuels.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I think Darnold will win the job, but I don't think Bridgewater is going anywhere anytime soon. That's
right. Like they traded for Darnold for a reason. Like maybe it's to give him competition, but I think they want him to be the starter. So
yeah, or I don't know, bring back Pat White. Appreciate you coming on the fan line. Thanks so much for sticking around. Really means a lot your fanaticism for the call.
Nav, he stinks. Dude is the check down king, fantastic backup QB that you'll hope you never have to play. Yeah,
he's like a better Colt McCoy. Quick final thoughts. Syracuse football. We got Andre Cisco, Ife Melifonwu, Mass native, and True Williams, all expected to be drafted. Cisco could go as early as round 2. Teams could panic, go round 1. 24 career games, 13 interceptions with the Syracuse Orange.
Wow. Is that bad?
That's good. So So he's there. Ife Melifonwu, just long, strong cornerback. I believe he will be the highest player ever drafted born in the state of Massachusetts.
I know nothing about college football. This is where
Well,
this
it's
covers
still
it.
Syracuse. It still matters. And then True Williams was a little bit of a surprise declaring early, but he is also just an athletic freak. He is so strong for the position. Someone will take a chance on him. Hopefully they all do really, really well. But other than that, we may be doing a little like live stream early first round, just like Facebook Live thing during the draft, so people can chirp.
You'll get my reaction when the
Yeah.
Jets trade away their future.
That's
And-
kind of
and
like
we're
what
on
I like. The question is when that second pick goes, can I get the angle perfect so I can see both the TV and Paul's face on my iPhone 8? Find out this Thursday night, and then we'll talk about it a little bit later. Appreciate everyone coming on. Monday Night Call with Yoni and Paul.
See you next week for the post-draft show.
Oh, of course.
See you then.
Next week for the post-draft show. Salute.